GRAMMY U members to Standing in the Spotlight with Billy Porter, a performance workshop. Our moderator is an award-winning radio personality and program director at SiriusXM. There, she curates all the music for the on-Broadway and Metropolitan Opera radio stations. She hosted her talk show, Broadway Names with Julia James, for over a decade. Please welcome to the stage, Julie James.
Welcome everyone. It's so great to be here today and to see all of you. I'm really excited about what is about to go down, but I want to thank Amazon Music for their support for the conference, and I want to introduce you to one of the most dynamic performers that I have ever had the pleasure of knowing. It is Grammy, Tony, and Emmy winner, Billy Porter. Yes. Billy has released solo music, but is also, of course, a veteran of the theater. He's a two-time Tony winner, first for Best Leading Actor in a Musical for Kinky Boots in 2013. And you may not know this, he also won Best Musical Tony Award as a producer for the incredible show A Strange Loop back in 2022. Yes. And of course, we're super proud of Billy because he is also a Grammy Award winner for the Kinky Boots original cast album in 2014. And this was an incredible moment when he took home the Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama Series in 2019 for his work as Pray Tell on the TV series Pose. And that was so wonderful because he made history as the first openly gay man to win that particular award. And if you haven't checked it out, I encourage you all to listen to his epic magnum opus record that's out now, The Black Mona Lisa. So without further ado, please give a warm welcome to multi-award winner and the absolutely fabulous Billy Porter. Indeed.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome, welcome. Yes, get comfortable in these fabulous...
These dry bones, girl.
Well, it's wonderful to be back with you today, and I can feel all the enthusiasm in the crowd for you, which is exciting. Now, you know, you have been in this business for a long time.
Longer than most of you have been alive.
Truth.
Just saying.
Over 30 years. And I have had the honor and pleasure of knowing you for a pretty good chunk of that, and it has been so rewarding to see what has unfolded for you. And you, of course, as we were just talking about, Broadway, TV, your original music. Now, how do you feel like you transform a song across all of these mediums? Like, what's similar and different about creating in all of these mediums?
What's interesting to me and what I'm grateful for the most is all of the multi-hyphenates that I have been blessed to have the talent to pursue. Also the presence of mind to understand that one serves the other. You know, I went to Carnegie Mellon for drama. I was in the acting program. So the gift is that every time I open up my mouth to sing, I'm telling a story. And I'm trying to connect with the audience that's sitting in front of me, or the audience that's watching me from their homes. You know, the biggest difference that I can say with being a theater performer as well as a straight down the middle music industry performer is that as a teacher, I find that my music industry babies sing a lot with their eyes closed. Everything with their eyes closed. Sorry, not for me. That's not for me at all. When I was in drama school, I had an amazing teacher, Billy Wilson. He's passed on, God rest his soul. He started in the ballet world as a ballet dancer, became a choreographer, then crossed over and became a director choreographer in Broadway shows, for Broadway shows. You know, and I got up to sing the first time, and I wasn't even singing with my eyes closed, but I got up to sing the first time. And he said, "So what?" Nobody ever said, "So what?" when I sang. I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Well, number one, you don't know what you're singing about, so I don't care. Number two, you sang most of that with your eyes closed, so it's masturbatory." What that reads as, when you sing with your eyes closed, is that you just enjoy the sound of your own voice so much that you just have to keep your eyes closed and listen to it. I mean, I know that's not the case, but like it's a little technical thing, that is a problem. It's a problem for me. Now, speaking to other people who are music industry people, they don't care. So, okay. It can be yes and,
Right.
you know.
Yeah. No, that's
But you can't be in a Broadway show and sing a whole song with your eyes closed. You can't. And this is Broadway and crossover
right.
today that we're talking about.
Exactly, exactly. And given that, since you write and perform your own music, but of course have made an entire career of singing the music of others, what would you say to our audience here today about really making something your own? Like if you are doing someone else's material, what are the modifications that you might want to make in an audition?
You guys are in a very interesting position in terms of what you can and cannot do, technically. You know, when I came out into this business, it was the 80s. You couldn't even change a key.
Exactly.
You couldn't even change a key.
You didn't go in and make it your own.
So strange.
You didn't go in and make it your own.
You didn't go in and make it your own, but I had no other choice, right? Because my voice was so high when I was younger that like even the tenor stuff, even the traditional first tenor stuff was too low for me. So I would either have to take the first tenor material that was appropriate and raise the key, which was like, I mean, it's like somebody took their firstborn children or something. Like, it was the weirdest thing. You know, and I would have to change all the keys, or I would just have to sing female songs that weren't about singing about a man. Right. You know, there are a lot of those. Nowadays, though, you know, everything is about bringing a piece of yourself into the room. So that's the good news in this conversation, is that you better bring yourself into the room. You better bring your blue hair into the room just like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's like we're in a different place. Yeah. You know, the world has expanded. The industry has expanded, quiet as it may be kept. You know, because unfortunately we don't speak about the positive enough. We, meaning the grown-ups in the room and the press and all of that, we don't speak about the good stuff enough. The good stuff. Look at me. Sitting here before you, look at me. 25 years in this business, I had nothing. I couldn't get arrested for 15 years of my life in this business after I had already come and been in it for 10 years. So, yeah.
Let's talk about collaboration.
Yes.
It's one of the best parts of the business, I'm sure you believe, especially as a theater person at heart, but it can also be one of the more challenging. Mm-hmm. What would you say to our peeps today about approaching how to keep your own individual creative vision going, but also still working towards that big picture with others?
I had the gift and blessing of doing a residency at the Public Theater under George C. Wolfe for about 3 years. And one of the things that continues to resonate with me, just in terms of him, best idea in the room wins.
Yes, yes.
This is a creative space. We're building from an idea. You know, we call it from idea page to the stage. I can't have all of the answers. I'm only one person. You know, I have a vision, and very often I will express my vision to my team, and then the way they interpret it, is far greater than anything that I could have done myself. I learned that from George. I also learned in terms of how to lead, you know, actually being vulnerable, actually saying, I don't know, is the best way to honor the artisans that are in the room with you. It's the best way to do that.
Yeah, good. Because that can be an...
Now, I will say this. Beware of the kind of criticism that is simply meant to assassinate you. Block that shit out. Make sure you block that shit out. But you have to become discerning about what the difference is. You have to be open enough to understand the difference and go, yes, I got you. No, I don't like that. Yes, yes. You know, like you have the right, as you sift through, to choose what's right for you and what isn't. You know, what notes are good for your vision and what aren't.
Let's talk about health.
Yeah.
Spiritual health, mental health, vocal health, physical health. These are all things that go into the life of a performer. I always talk about our performers, particularly on Broadway, as athletes, Olympians, in fact, because it is Olympian. And I know you've been on a tour. I heard you talking about your tour bus life, which was kind of new for you, which I loved hearing about. But what are some of the ways that you prioritize maintaining all of those aspects of health, even down to like vocal exercises or dance or fitness or whatever the routines that help you keep your endurance, especially when it comes to tour and Broadway, which are nightly?
The first thing is my mental health. The first thing you have to do is make sure that that is intact. 8 shows a week, like Julie just said. You know, we are athletes. God bless you. We are athletes. 8 hours rest a night when I'm doing 8 shows a week. I try to get 8 hours every night. When I'm doing 8 shows a week, I'm like a monk, you know.
And most Broadway stars are, if you ask them. It's like, it's not all what
Not a lot of, you know, can't drink too much.
Or at all.
Mm-hmm. But, you know, my voice is different now, so I can drink a little bit. The expectation is different. I do eat my weed, though. It's legal. I'm not going to act like I don't do it. I do. Just eat your gummy before you go to bed.
But
Pilates. I do Pilates and yoga now. 'Cause you know, I'm 54. I don't need to be a muscle man no more. I can just be thin and healthy.
you look good. You look good. Come on.
Thank you.
Come on. No conversation with Billy Porter would be complete without him sharing a little with us about some of his inspirations, mentors. He already mentioned George C. Wolfe earlier, which I know is one. What are some of those mentors for you, and what are some of the biggest takeaways, the lessons that they've taught you, that guide you?
You know, I've had so many angels in my life, you know, who sort of kind of dropped in to the space at various different times in my life, right when I needed them, to take me to the next level of something, to show me a path or a direction that I didn't know anything about, but would help me in my dreams and desires. I've had people who I've looked up to, the Oprah Winfreys of the world, the Whitney Houstons of the world, the Quincy Joneses, the Steven Spielbergs, the Baz Luhrmanns, the Spike Lees, you know. But the one consistent energy and force of inspiration for me was my mom. And thank you. And she just passed away this year on leap year. And I think about, you know, just in this sort of grief space, how her energy and her presence, and watching her and experiencing her move through life in the way that she did. You know, she was disabled her entire life due to medical malpractice. She defied all odds. She wasn't supposed to live past 30. She lived to 79. She wasn't supposed to be able to even take care of herself. She took care of herself until she was, you know, till 8 years ago. Like, I just, you know, she got up. She showed up and she showed out for her life, no matter what her physical body was doing. However it was betraying her, it never mattered. And so she is such the inspiration for that, for me. I don't know anything else or any other way, because she was in front of my face my whole life. You know, if she could get up and show up in the way that she did, there's no excuse for me.
Beautiful. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Mom. I was just thinking that our audience today might benefit. We began our conversation by talking about the multi-hyphenate age that we have come into, which is so wonderful. Wasn't as embraced when, you know, people like you and me were starting out. When you produced, you produced and created the record, The Soul of Richard Rodgers. So that kind of got left out in our, we could have spent all day on all the things that Billy has done, right? But sitting here talking with you, I thought about that. We've talked a lot about the performer Billy. There's also director Billy, there's actor Billy, and there's producer Billy. So since we're here at a GRAMMY U event, I thought I'd ask you just a little bit that you might want to share about that aspect of doing things.
Yeah, well, my first R&B, mainstream music R&B album came out in 1996. It's called Billy Porter Untitled. You can get it now.
Look it up.
You can get it on anywhere now, actually. You couldn't get it for 20 years or more.
That's right.
Then I became famous, and magically,
Resurface.
you could find it. In between that time, you know, the R&B space, particularly back in the 90s, was very homophobic, so they kicked my little black sissy ass out. Sorry, and I did it anyway, right?
You did.
I did it anyway.
You did.
So now I'm back. Now I'm back, and I have a new album out called Black Mona Lisa. Go get it on your Spotify. You know, it's in between, I did 3 albums on my own. So I had the mainstream space with the mainstream budget-ish. And then I did 3 independent albums. I did At the Corner of Broadway and Soul.
One of my all-time favorites, P.S.
Thank you. A live album from Joe's Pub. Then I did Billy's Back on Broadway that I did around the time that I did Kinky Boots, and that's my sort of like orchestral Broadway album.
Fantasia.
Yes, inspired by those old Barbra Streisand Broadway albums. You know, very much me. I still managed to do me. I had to be me before social media and all of this that y'all have today. I had to be me because I didn't have anything else. So like I said earlier, I had to raise all the keys and just come and just do me. And then my 4th album is called Billy Porter Presents the Soul of Richard Rodgers. And what I wanted to do was, I call it my Quincy Jones moment. Because what I did actually, was really try to subtly have the conversation in the music space that nobody's really talking about, which is Broadway performers crossing over into mainstream music. You know, I find it really gross that the same stuff that I heard over 30 years ago is the same shit I'm hearing now again. And it's not based on anything other than, I don't know, I still don't understand what the difference is. You know, it's like we as theater people welcome the Alicia Keyses of the world with open arms. We do. We do. We welcome the John Legends. We welcome the Jennifer Hudsons. We welcome
Cyndi Lauper.
the Cyndi Laupers. We welcome people from the music industry into our space all the time. And when it comes time for us to cross over, the doors are locked tight, really tight. Yeah. So I'm kind of over that. I'm sort of trying to, you know, when you go and you see, hold on, my watch is ringing. When you go and you listen to the album, you know, it's me as a producer. I sing on it as well, but it's me as a music producer. And sort of, you know, Cindy, Leslie Odom Jr. is on it, and Patina Miller guests on it, and Cynthia Erivo, and Deborah Cox, and India Ari, and Lettucey, and
Renee Elise
Goldsberry, and, you know, and it's like the mixture of that. Go listen to it. I'm very proud of it, but I also knew, like, low key, that the arrangements of the Richard Rodgers music was more in the spirit of where I was headed, which is what you now see in Black Mona Lisa. It's a full-on pop album. It's pop, R&B, pop. It's soul pop, it's pop, it's pop. Dance, pop, house pop, like it's a real pop record. And I wanted my audiences to know that I haven't forgotten about them. Because it is, you know, it's like my Broadway audience is all of you in this room all the way up to like 90. You know, and I have to take care of all of my audiences. I went on tour with this album last year. And it was magical to see the audiences. Yeah. Because they were from like 9 to 90. All races and genders and everything. It was everything. It was everything. And that was really inspiring.
Well, we have a really exciting opportunity for a little workshopping, but really just briefly before we get to our next segment, we have so many people in this room and who may be watching that are interested in both music and acting and singing, you know, all this multi-hyphenate that we're talking about. Is there a nugget of wisdom from the heart and mind of Billy Porter that you would share with them?
Yeah, believe in yourself. Believe in what you have to offer. And honor that. Because in the honoring of that, in the honoring of your truth, of your authenticity across the board, you teach people on the outside how to treat you and how to receive you. You know, it wasn't until I loved myself enough to take myself out of that masculinity game, that masculinity contest that's so at the forefront of everybody's mind. I took myself out of that, and then stuff started to work in ways that they hadn't before. Do that. It takes longer. It doesn't always feel like it's working.
That part.
Put one foot in front of the other. And do that.
Yeah.
Do that as best you can, you know.
Yeah, because sometimes you don't know what it's all adding up to as you go. It's only after you get, you know, somewhere like where Billy's been and you start to see it. You start to see your steps accumulating. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. We could talk to him all day, couldn't we? But we do have an amazing workshop for you. It's featuring the National Membership GRAMMY U representative. This talented person began his career at 14 on the Broadway national tour of The Sound of Music. Oh. Yes. They are currently a student at USC and has starred in musicals such as A Chorus Line, Carrie, and most recently Rent as Mark Cohen. Well, okay. So please welcome to the stage Roy Gantz. Hi, Roy.
Hello, hello.
Welcome, welcome.
How are you guys doing?
And joining on the piano is the incredible Ted Firth.
Woo!
Hold on a minute. I got to watch you from the front.
All right.
Now all eyes are on you. Come on, arrangement.
There's a saying old, says that love is blind. Still we're often told, seek and ye shall find. So I'm going to seek a certain lad I've had in mind. Looking everywhere, haven't found him yet. He's the big affair I cannot forget. Only man I ever think of with regret. I'd like to add his initial to my monogram. Tell me, where is the shepherd for this lost lamb. There's a somebody I'm longing to see. I hope that he turns out to be someone to watch over me. I'm a little lamb who's lost in the wood. I know I could always be good to one who watch over me. Although he may not be the man some girls think of as handsome, to my heart he carries the key. Won't you tell him please to put on some speed, follow my lead. Oh, how I need someone to watch over me. Someone to watch over me. Thank you.
That was beautiful, Roy. Really beautiful. So, number one, song choice. Choice, song choice, song choice. Choice, great song for you. Great choice. You always have to choose the right material. There's a lot of material for you to choose from. This space required a different kind of research because of the rules. So you chose this, why?
I mean, first of all,
Talking to your mic.
I'll be real, honestly, it had to be public domain. And I was like, I'm doing a standard. This is one of my favorite standards of all time. I love, like, Amy Winehouse has a version, Barbra Streisand has a version. Yeah.
Many people have a version.
A lot of people.
A lot of people.
A lot of people. But yeah, I related to the idea of, you know, wanting somebody who loves you to be there for you, and feeling kind of, you know, like people don't accept it.
Right. So in terms of the story for yourself, what is the trajectory that you're going through?
Yeah.
From verse to refrain all the way through.
Yeah. I think first verse is almost like a confession. It's like, here's my heart, here's what's going on, you know, asking the person to love me. Then I think it kind of progresses to an idea of like, this is what I'm going to do. And the love
is it
strong.
positive? What I'm trying to get to, is it a positive ending or a negative ending?
I think positive.
So I think one of the things that I want you to try this next time around is then playing the positive.
Okay.
Play the positive.
Cool.
The whole way through. One of the things that young actors, I find, well, and not just young actors, real whole ass professional actors and actresses on Broadway every day get up on stage and tell me no.
Yeah.
They get on stage and shake their head no, the whole fucking song. And you just said you want this to be positive. I'm a real technical person because you can fix something with just stop shaking your head no. Stop shaking your head no. Keep your eyes open when you sing. You actually have this was actually a good balance. It was actually a good balance, and it was a good balance in a space of the hybrid space of singing this in a musical as a character or singing this as Roy. You know, at what is it, 54 below or something. You know, it's different. It is different. It is different. So what I want you to try this time, when I teach my master classes, I do something called Carnegie Hall 101.
All right.
Or Diva 101, whichever one you'd like to tell your friends is better. So essentially, here are the rules.
Yeah.
You're at Carnegie Hall. You already have your Tony Award and your Grammy Award and all of those things. And people have come to see you perform at Carnegie Hall. So you have to enter. No, keep your mic where it is. You're in a fabulous, whatever you want to be in, actually. Who am I to say? Who am I to say? We're going to say your name. And from the minute you hit the stage to when you get to that mic, it's about your presence. Connect with us. You're already doing it. And I just want to make sure you keep doing that. Keep connecting with us. Stop shaking your head no. You're very advanced. So like these are really technical things for me. And take a breath. At the end of it, when you go to your money note, and if you're going to modify that vowel, you got to take a breath. I don't mind you modifying the vowel. And you cleaned it up on the end too, if you noticed. You closed in so that we knew what that was. You're gonna love more. Yeah, you've modified it. It's good. Sometimes you have to modify it. Close it on the end like you did. And just make sure you're connecting to us. Don't get lost. Don't get lost. If you feel like you're getting lost, all of us are here. Look in our eyes. Let this beautiful lady bring you back to being present right here. Okay? Let's try it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Carnegie Hall is proud to present Roy Gantz.
A star, bitch!
There's a saying.
Stop shaking your head no! Go ahead.
There's a saying old, says that love is blind. Still we're often told, seek and ye shall find. So I'm going to seek a certain lad I've had in mind. Looking everywhere, haven't found him yet. He's the big affair I cannot forget. Only man I ever think of with regret. I'd like to add his initial to my monogram. Tell me, where is the shepherd for this lost lamb. There's a somebody I'm longing to see. I hope that he turns out to be someone to watch over me. I'm a little lamb who's lost in the wood. I know I could always be good to one who watch over me. Although he may not be the man some girls think of as handsome, to my heart he carries the key. Won't you tell him please to put on some speed, follow my lead. Oh, how I need someone to watch over me. Someone to watch over me.
Good. Just something to think about. Really beautiful, Roy. We sing with our whole bodies. We have to use our whole bodies, right? Sometimes we get constricted here. You know, take up space. Take up space. I assure you, when you get to that high note that you're concerned about, that you don't need to be concerned about. As opposed to open it up here. Open up. I'm not convinced that you know the melody though. Ba ba da ba ba ba. What's that melody?
There's a somebody who's.
What is it?
There's a somebody I'm longing.
Play the melody. Ba 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 ba.
And my voice teacher was on me about that.
Ba ba. But you got to learn that melody.
Yeah. Somebody.
It's really, really, really minute. It's really a small thing. It's not the melody though.
Yeah.
You got to hit that melody because it's so popular. Yeah. And I'm sitting there going, is he choosing to sing it wrong? Because there's a difference. You can make a choice, but I'm like, he don't know it. He don't know it. Because you sang it wrong every time.
You got me.
And there was also another, although he may not be the man some girls think of
as handsome.
That's the melody.
Cool.
Just in this.
Yeah.
If you go back to that bridge, you can sing it differently.
Yeah.
But like the first time out, sing the melody, you can, but just,
yeah.
And listen, I sing it the way you want.
Yeah.
If anybody's going to say sing it the way you want, it's me.
Yeah.
And simultaneously, it's a yes and.
Yeah.
Just as, particularly in the theater, just as in musical theater, we sing when we get to an emotional place where we can't speak anymore. It should be the same thing with ornamentation. It's like I can't emotionally sing the melody that's written on the page anymore, so I have to go off the melody. It has to be that important emotionally. Otherwise, it just sounds like you're showing off. And there's that, and there's time for that too, by the way. There is. You know, so beautiful work, Roy. Beautiful. Thank you. Give him a hand.
Yes. Roy Gantz, everyone. Roy Gantz and Ted Firth. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ted. That was beautiful. You sound gorgeous.
So we want to thank you, Roy and Ted. We want to thank GRAMMY U for having us. We most especially want to thank the Billy Porter. It's not just a handle.
Go get my album and tell your friends. Do we call it album anymore? What do we call
you sure
it?
do.
What do we call it, children? Do we call it an album still? Okay. Black Mona Lisa, tell all your friends.
Yes. And, you know, I'm struck here, being with you here today, hearing you speak of the many angels that inspired your path along your many years. And it gave my heart a flutter because I thought, wow, look at all the people that are going to get to follow in your footsteps, or that you will be an angel for them, because so much has changed since you came
He couldn't
up.
sing with those pronouns when I
That's
came out.
right.
He couldn't sing with those pronouns when I came out.
That's right.
Something that simple.
Something like that. So thank you for your inspiration, your guidance, and for being an angel amongst us. And I know that it's appreciated and felt.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
GRAMMY U, I hope you got something out of it today. Have a wonderful rest of your conference. It was great to be here. I'm Julie James. Enjoy the rest.